James Maury Henson, born on September 24, 1936, in Greenville, Mississippi, was the younger of two children of parents Paul Ransom Henson and Betty Marcella. He was raised as a Christian Scientist and spent his early childhood in Leland, Mississippi, before moving with his family to University Park, Maryland, near Washington, D.C., in the late 1940s. He began developing puppets in high school. He once said he remembered the arrival of the family's first television as the biggest event of his adolescence, being heavily influenced by radio ventriloquist Edgar Bergen and the early television puppets of Bert Tillstrom on The Kukla Show. He began developing puppets in high school. In 1954, while attending Northwestern High School, he began working for WTOP-TV, now WUSA-TV, creating puppets for a Saturday morning children's show called The Junior Morning Show. He enrolled at the University of Maryland College Park as a studio arts major, thinking that he might become a commercial artist. After graduation, he created Sam and Friends, a short-form comedy television program, while he was a freshman at the University of Maryland College Park. The show included a prototype of Henson's most famous character, Kermit the Frog. This is also when he began experimenting with techniques that changed the way in which puppetry was used on television, including using the frame defined by the camera shot to allow the puppet performer to work from off-camera. In 1958, he co-founded Muppets, Inc., which became the Jim Henson Company. In 1969, he joined the children's educational television program Sesame Street, where he helped to develop characters for the series. He and his creative team also appeared on the sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live. He produced The Muppet Show during this period, premiering the series in 1976. He won fame for his characters, particularly Kermit the Frog, Ralph the Dog, and Ernie. During the later years of his life, he founded the Jim Henson Foundation and Jim Henson's Creature Shop. He won the Emmy Award twice for his involvement in The Storyteller and the Jim Henson Hour. The popularity of his work on Sam and Friends in the late 1950s led to a series of guest appearances on network talk and variety shows. He appeared as a guest on many shows, including The Steve Allen Show, The Jack Paar Program, and The Ed Sullivan Show, where Sullivan introduced him as Jim Newsom and his puppets. These television broadcasts greatly increased his exposure, leading to hundreds of commercial appearances by his characters throughout the 60s. He married Jane Nabel in 1959. In 1963, they moved to New York City, where the newly formed Muppets, Inc. resided for some time, and he lived there until his death. Jane quit performing to raise their children, and he hired writer Jerry Juhl in 1961 and puppet performer Frank Oz in 1963 to replace her. Henson credited them both with developing much of the humor and character of his Muppets. He and Oz developed a close friendship and a performing partnership that lasted until Henson's death. Their teamwork is particularly evident in their portrayals of Bert and Ernie, Kermit and Miss Piggy, and Kermit and Fozzie Bear. His talk show appearances culminated when he devised Ralph, a piano-playing anthropomorphic dog that became the first Muppet to make regular appearances on The Jimmy Dean Show. Henson appeared with Kermit on the Arsenio Hall Show on May 4, 1990, and it was his final television appearance. He disclosed to his publicist that he was tired and had a sore throat, but he felt that it would soon go away. He then traveled to Ahoskie, North Carolina, with his daughter Cheryl to visit his father and stepmother. They returned to their home in New York City the following day, and Henson canceled a Muppet recording session that had been scheduled for May 14. His estranged wife came to visit that night. Henson was having trouble breathing when he woke up at around 2 a.m. on May 15, and he began coughing up blood. He suggested to his wife that he might be dying, but he did not want to take time off from his schedule to visit a hospital. 2 hours later, he agreed to be taken by taxi to the emergency room at New York Presbyterian Hospital in Manhattan. Shortly after admission, he stopped breathing and was rushed into the intensive care unit. X-ray images taken of his chest revealed that he had multiple abscesses in both of his lungs as a result of a previous bacterial infection. He was placed on a ventilator, but he quickly deteriorated over the next several hours despite increasingly aggressive treatment with multiple antibiotics. On May 16, 1990, he died at New York Hospital, aged 53. Dr. David Gelmont announced that he had died from organ dysfunction resulting from streptococcal toxic shock syndrome caused by Streptococcus pyogenes. Jim Henson will forever be missed.